And welcome to the Press Enterprise studio for the Pep and Jim show. Right, Jim?
Wait a minute. And I was going to say, if we're going to do this every week, we should have a catchy name.
Like Pep and Jim.
Well, I prefer Jim and Pep. Jim and Pep. I think that it rolls off the tongue.
It's a working title.
Yeah, you call it what you want. I'll call it what I want. You know, somebody will come up with a better solution, so we'll go with it and see what happens.
All right, so we're going to be talking about some sports items here. And first off, I want to say that, you know, the Dodgers have made all these huge moves with these big-name players in the big leagues. There's a guy, a prospect that you saw at Rancho Cucamonga who's kind of flying under the radar. Unless you're, you know, a Dodger fan, you know about this guy, but maybe, you know, the casual baseball fan hasn't heard of. Is it Yasiel Puig?
Yasiel Puig, and I'm not sure he's flying under the radar with Dodger fans. I mean, tweets and blogs and what have you. I mean, it's almost like there's an impatience. Hey, let's get this guy up to the big leagues. He's not ready. He's 21 years old. He defected from Cuba in June. He hadn't played on their #1 national team. He'd played on their B team, I guess. He was suspended from Cuban baseball for a year because they were afraid he was going to defect. And you know, obviously he did just that.
Yeah.
Signed with the Dodgers for $42 million over 7 years, just before the deadline where you could sign international players without going through a salary cap. And he's the real deal, I think. It's way early. He played nine games in the rookie league, and he's played like 11 or 12 games in the Cal League. He's a big kid. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. I mean, he's built like a rock.
A power hitter?
He's got some power. He's got some speed. His base running is still a little ragged right now, but he seems to be the whole package. I mean, right now, well, let's see. The last 3 games, he's 8 for 12, 2 doubles, a home run, 3 RBI, and a walk. And his OPS for the 12 games he's been in the Cal League is 1.185, and that's Hall of Fame numbers if you extrapolate it over the course of the
But
career.
it is the Cal League.
It is the Cal League. It's still early. Juan Bustabad, who's their manager, basically said he's got a long way to go, and he's got a lot of things still to learn, not only about baseball, but about this culture. I mean, that's the other thing. And that's the thing that intrigued me, is that you've got a kid who has grown up in the Cuban system, which, you know, is pretty much a closed society.
Yeah.
And now he's here, and he's got all this freedom and all these choices, and how is he going to handle it? So that's the thing that I'm intrigued about, and the thing that I wonder what's going to happen there, and how that will impact his progress.
All right, so the future of the Dodgers looks bright with Yasiel Puig. Jim says he saw him at Single A Rancho Cucamonga. Let's move on to volleyball. Jim, Cal State San Bernardino, one of the top programs in the country. They kick off another campaign this week, and they made it to the finals last year, right?
They were in the national championship game last year at home. It all seemed to be set up for them. They were undefeated at home for like 3 years, 4 years actually, with that particular class of seniors. And they got beat in the final by Concordia St. Paul, which is pretty much a Division II dynasty. And now Kim Chernis is basically starting over. She's got one senior coming back, Camille Smith, who was an all-everything player last year, and basically trying to rebuild around a lot of players who had been sort of in secondary roles or new players. And I'll be interested to see how that pans out. They're opening this weekend. They're opening Friday at a tournament in Phoenix, and I will be out there later today to talk to Kim and some of the players and get a sense of what they've got and what they expect. They're ranked 3rd nationally in Division II, so, I mean, a program like that with a reputation like that, it just keeps rolling along, and I'm sure that they'll be there in the end, no matter how many new players they have.
All right, so we'll look for Jim's column on the Lady Coyotes later. Another column you're working on. You went down to Chargers Park, right?
Went down to Chargers Park yesterday, talked to Shareece Wright, Colton's own, USC's own, and had a nice conversation both about SC. I mean, he's got that fight-on mentality and all that. But his year is going to be a whole lot more promising than last year was. He was a rookie. He was hampered because of the lockout. They didn't have a chance to do any off-season work at all. So he, like all the rest of the rookies, was behind coming in. And then to top that off, he got a groin injury early in camp last year and basically didn't see the field until week 7. So this season has been a total flip-flop, as I'll discuss in the column, because he's healthy. He had a whole off season of OTAs, organized team activities, as they say in the NFL, an opportunity to further learn the system and refine his skills. And the guy that he's been competing with, Marcus Gilchrist, who basically got a leg up last year because of Shareece's injury, he's been hurt in camp. So Shareece has kind of moved ahead of him, and it's kind of an interesting...
Sees the opportunity, right?
And it's kind of an interesting dynamic because they're good friends. I mean, they played together in the Senior Bowl, and they were both drafted the same year, and so they're roommates. So even though they're sort of competing on the field, they're actually pushing each other to succeed.
All right, so that's Thursday's newspaper?
That will be in Thursday's Press Enterprise, and it'll be on PE.com later today.
All right, and finally, Jim, the big topic around our newsroom right now is what is going on at Rancho Christian. Their varsity football team folded, essentially, so they're trying to decide, I think, at this point, if they're still going to have the underclassmen play or if they're going to have, disband football completely and have the kids transfer. They've got some big names on their schedule. Vista, Rev, I think Santiago was supposed to be this week in week 1. So it just
You mean Santiago? Yeah,
you got it, Jim.
Yeah,
you watch HS Game Time.
That's right. That's right. I know the drill.
So, I mean, in your eyes, I mean, it sounds like a lose-lose for the kids that are there right now.
Absolutely. And I don't know a whole lot about it other than what David Lassen has uncovered, and he's doing
a great job.
He's doing a great job with his story. But it just seems to me like it was a house of cards, and all it took was one to blow it all down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's this coach that was in there was trying to do too much too fast, if he was making promises that he couldn't keep. I don't really know. It just sounds like he overreached, and he didn't have the roster he needed.
I think he only had 13 kids.
He only had like 13.
Season
my
opener.
understanding is there were some other kids that were banged up that couldn't play. But still, I mean, you're a little school and you're trying to play Rev and Santiago and those people. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to say it, but know your role.
And as of Tuesday night, it sounded like if the seniors who wanted to transfer, they could transfer and play this season if the school completely disbanded the football program. But if they decided to keep the JV team and the underclassmen and let them play their season out, then the seniors who wanted to transfer had nowhere to go.
The seniors would get the shaft. Yeah. And in the CIF's case, and I know CIF has its rule book, and they have procedures that they follow rigorously.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be a little bit of thought toward the kids. And the CIF, what the CIF should say is, okay, we understand this is an unusual situation, and so if you seniors, if you want to transfer, I mean, all the other stuff they've done with liberalizing the transfer rules, they should tell these kids, we know you've already played a game, but because of the uniqueness of the situation, if you want to continue your football season at another school, we'll give you the one-time pass. I mean, I don't know how many seniors are actually
on the team.
How many seniors are actually affected by this? Yeah. But I think if you're looking out for the kids, then do something for the kids here. Give them the hardship waiver. Give them the ability to transfer to wherever they can fit in, and let's move on.
And I know this is, this affects a lot of people. So I know EPJ, John Murphy, the prep dog, David Lassen as well. They're trying to contact Rev and Santiago and find out what this means for them, because now they need a game on their schedule and they don't have much flexibility to get someone in that opening that they have now.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, and not to blame anybody, but I'm wondering if you're one of those big schools,
why did you schedule
Why
Rancho
did you schedule
Christian?
these guys? If you're scheduling for a W, then I don't have any sympathy for you. I mean, if it's something else, well, if you got an opening on your schedule and this was the only option, then okay. But I mean, the whole thing about small school decides it's going to play with the big guys, to me, it's all a little fishy.
Jim, that was a pretty good episode for the Pep and Jim show.
You mean the Jim and Pep show. We'll do it again next week, and maybe by that time we'll have a name figured out.
See you then.
Thanks.